Thanks for your support as a channel member, F1 Skiddy! Ahgp's first season in Formula One saw it go completely pointless, but we did finish above Sauber, although this is a struggling Sauber before they become Audi, so that doesn't necessarily say too much, but we did beat another team. Our goal this season, though, is to score points on a regular basis if we can develop the car well enough to reach that sort of level. And that starts today in Australia. Hello folks, and welcome to a brand new episode of F1 Manager here with Ahgp, and we are gearing up for the Australian Grand Prix, the season opener for Season 2. We have Paul Aaron and Fred Vesti at the wheel of our cars, and we have been busy beavering away in the off season, so there's lots to show you, so let's not hang around. I'm just going to get my notebook because I noted everything down. There is loads to tell you about. So first of all, as mentioned, Paul Aaron, Fred Vesti driving for us in Formula One, but our two affiliate drivers, our name in the game members, Justin and Pulse Potato, are both in Formula 2 and they're in high tech, although Pulse Potato has something, maybe some sort of affinity with this team. If you can see, High Tech Pulse 8 and Pulse Potato. Hopefully there's no favouritism there, but we will be keeping an eye on how these two get on in Formula 2, with the possibility that one of them can get a Formula 1 seat for 2026. But we'll see how things go on that. We've also been upgrading some facilities. We have a car park test centre now. We've built one of those. We have also upgraded the team hub, which gives us more staff development, which is really, really important. We've upgraded the race simulator so our drivers will improve quicker. And we've also built a memorabilia room because we now have memorabilia in the shape of last season's car and the race suits and helmets and no trophies, sadly. But we will be working towards putting some true memorabilia in that room this season. What else have we been up to? We've been developing the car. So I have developed a new underfloor, new front and rear wings, suspension, side pods and chassis. And as you can see, we're already on the third version of front and rear wings, and we're manufacturing the underfloor, the side pods and the suspension. What is ready for today is the front wing version 2, rear wing version 2 and underfloor version 2. So if I show you the car analysis, you can see the difference it's making. So let's select our team and Fred Vesti. So I've put all the new parts on Paul Aaron's car, and you can see the difference it's going to make. We're better through the corners, we're faster down the straights, we're better on tyres, we're lighter. It's just better all round. So we will be equipping those bits to Fred's car ahead of the weekend in Melbourne, and we are also in negotiations to sign a new sporting director. So it is going to be, hopefully, Andy Stevenson, who no candidates to compare. That's not true. That's absolutely not true. Let's find the email. Where is it? Counteroffer Andy Stevenson. Can we view his profile? No, I need to go here. Here he is. So let's compare him to our current sporting director, Pascal, and everything is much better. Everything is much better, which means our pit crew will be more effective as a result. So if I go back to here and show you the stats, so training, we improve quicker. They lose less performance between seasons as well, the pit crew. The aptitude helps the pit crew reach a higher level, which is good. Leadership, which I think is new for this season, manages the team through high pressure situations. So when we have bad pit stops, they won't be as lengthy. Essentially, we won't lose 10, 12 seconds because of it. And our processes will be better, which means the pit crew will get fatigued less, which means we can work on other parts and get all the benefits from those. So hopefully he signs on the dotted line. He will cost us something like $3.5 million a year, but it will be worth it if our pit stops are on point. Now, we also need to show you the car for 2026. 5. Here is the livery. We've got some new sponsors, Rockstar Energy Drink, you can see there. Some old sponsors in Bang and Cisco, who are now our title sponsors, and Hugo Boss have provided all of our clothing and our fragrances, probably, because they do loads of stuff. So hopefully you like the new livery, the purple and the white. I think this works really nice, will be easy to spot on track. Yeah, and we've done something funky with the wheel covers as well. So that's the new car livery. The driver suits are new, white with purple trim. So yeah, we are looking pretty sharp as we head down to Melbourne. Oh, actually, calendar. So obviously Australia opening the season, we've mirrored the 2025 season. I've kept all 24 races. The idea being that we're probably going to have some races where things don't go so well. So I will probably put some races together. So sprint rounds will have their own episode, but where it's just a regular race weekend, you might see some of those put together in videos so we get through the season a little bit quicker. Well, at least you will, but I will still have to sit here and play through every race. Or we might simulate some. But yeah, we've got Melbourne, China, then we go to Suzuka, then off to the Middle East, Bahrain and Saudi Arabia before we hit Miami, Imola, Monte Carlo, Barcelona, Canada, which is a sprint weekend, then Silverstone, also a sprint weekend, and our third sprint weekend, well, I only did 3 because they take time and they annoy me, it's Mexico. So yeah, we've got Mexico as our third sprint race. So Sao Paulo does not have a sprint race for the first time. I should also show you the driver lineups before we move in. I'm now aware that this is taking quite a while to get through and we want to get on the track. So Red Bull have kept Max Verstappen, but they've now partnered him with Yuki Tsunoda. This is absolutely not going to happen in real life, but it's happened in game, which is interesting. Lewis Hamilton has joined Charles Leclerc at Ferrari. Carlos Sainz is at Williams. Sergio Perez has been dropped to the RB team. Now, I have moved him there myself with the editor because the game did something weird. I put Antonelli as the second Mercedes driver, and then it dropped George Russell. So George Russell was actually a free agent, which is why he's down here, 23rd. So I was like, okay, well, that's not true. George Russell is staying at Mercedes. He's partnered by Kimi Antonelli. Sergio Perez goes in at RB. Logan Sargent was the incumbent there, so I've moved him to Haas as their reserve, I think it was. So yeah, that's what's happened there. So Red Bull still have Sergio Perez, but he's been dumped into the second team. Daniel Ricciardo has moved to Aston Martin. Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll, both free agents. Neither of them got picked up, which is crazy. Hulkenberg's at Sauber. Ocon's at Haas. Sargent also at Haas, but he's the reserve. We've still got Vesti. Bottas stays at Sauber. Gasly at Alpine. Zhou goes to RB alongside Sergio Perez. Théo Pourchaire becomes the second Aston Martin driver. That's probably an upgrade on Lance Stroll. Ollie Behrman joins Formula One, and so does Liam Lawson. He's joined Alpine. He's free of the Red Bull program, so Alpine are fielding 2 ex-Red Bull drivers, and yeah, that's your grid for 2025. Right, we will now head down to Australia. I'll do practice. I'll see you for qualifying. Here we go then. First qualifying of the new season. I'm going to send our drivers straight out for a double push lap to try and get the temperature into the tyres for the second run. We will probably run out of deployment for lap 2, but let's see how we get on. Right, drivers coming across the line to start their first laps now, and Paul Aaron edged out by Fred Vesti by a couple of tenths. I think he had a bit of traffic on that run, and he's a 10.5 slower, and is improving in sector 1 and 2 on the second lap. And Paul Aaron goes ahead of Fred Vesti by 0.2 of a second. Well, it swings a 10.5 the other way, actually. He's actually 0.02 of a second behind Max Verstappen. So I don't think that's a representative lap from the Dutchman, but that is it's a marker for Paul Aaron, actually, against Fred Vesti. We're going to have quite a tight battle, I think, between these two this season. We're actually ahead of George Russell and Alex Albon. They must have had serious amounts of traffic. Okay, 3.5 minutes remain. We're going to do a single lap on our final run, and I'm going to take control of the outlaps. See if we can get tyres up to temperature. Let's take manual control of both. And let's go aggressive on the warm-up lap to get some temperature into the tyres. Because that's something that they really struggle on this game, to get tyre temperature on outlaps. It's coming up now. ERS now fully charged for both drivers, pretty much. We're going to be quite early, I think, with these laps. But hopefully we can get ourselves into Q2, at least with one car. Let's push with Fred. And let's see what we can deliver. Oh, Paul has got absolutely shafted by the Mercedes. And it's not going to be an improvement for him on this lap, at least in the first sector. He might get a tow. Oh, the Red Bull. Oh my gosh. This is absolutely hideous. And Paul Aaron now getting blocked by a Sauber. Oh my god. Oh wow. These laps have been absolutely ruined by traffic. Let's call Paul to the pit lane because he's not going to improve. Let's see what Fred Vesti can do. At the moment, Lewis Hamilton is 22nd and last. Fred Vesti stays 15th. Our laps absolutely ruined by traffic, and now we're going to drop out in Q1. Perez doesn't improve. Lawson hasn't improved. Vesti is out as Verstappen goes top of the times. I think Oscar Piastri has just qualified last at his home race. Paul Aaron has made it through. Charles Leclerc is out. Oscar Piastri last for the first race of the season, while his teammate is second. That is the traffic issues that you get on this game. That's why you need to go out immediately when the track is clearer and hope that you don't get traffic. Paul Aaron just about survives. That second push lap on our first set of runs doing the damage for him to get through. Let's see what he can do in Q2. Fresh tyres for Paul Aaron in Q2. He did have a Mercedes behind him, but that has gone into the pit lane, and Paul can now start his final effort of this session. I'm not expecting us to get into Q3. I think that would be something of a miracle. He's not actually improved on his first sector, which was set on used tyres. This whole dynamic is silly. You should go faster on fresh tyres, and we're still not improving. This is actually ridiculous. They need to fix this in the game, because they should be able to get the tyres up to temperature on an outlap and then go faster with fresh tyres. We don't improve. What a waste of time. 16th. Paul Aaron eliminated. That I don't know. I don't understand. Yuki Tsunoda has just gone fastest on a 15.6 in Q2, and who ends up on pole? It's Max Verstappen with Kimi Antonelli alongside him. Weirdly, it didn't want to show us the times, but yeah, Verstappen on pole by 0.4 of a second from Antonelli. He's put 0.3 on George Russell. Teo Pourchaire in 4th. Lewis Hamilton 6th on his Ferrari debut, and both Williams in the top 10. But yeah, we'll start 16th and 17th, which I suppose is pretty positive. Okay, Alpine, Ferrari and McLaren all dropped the ball with cars that are probably faster than us. So we're probably around the guys that we should be around. Let's see if we can finish ahead of Sauber and Alpine in the race. Two-stop strategy here in Australia. It's medium, medium, soft for Paul Aaron, and soft, medium, soft for Fred Vesti. He's got a second set of brand new soft tyres to use because he didn't make it through to Q2. I've taken a couple of laps of fuel out of both cars, and yeah, we are ready to rock and roll for Season 2 with Ahgp. Let's get to the grid and get this race underway. Verstappen versus Antonelli on the front row. We're going to be trying to make up ground from further back. 5 red lights and Season 2 is underway. The lights are out, the race is on. Paul Aaron immediately darting out to try and attack the Alpine ahead of him. Let's hop on board with him as Fred is going around the outside. Please don't crash into each other, lads. And oh, that's a McLaren off the track. Lando Norris has just completely got in the way of Fred Vesti. I'm not sure what happened to Lando, but we've snuck ahead of him, and so it looks like has an Alpine, and everyone filing through turn 3. Pretty safe start. Leclerc down to last with Piastri. McLaren have had an absolutely shocking opening weekend so far. They're currently 16th and 21st. We are in P15. If we can get after Gasly and Hülkenberg, maybe we can challenge Perez and Zhou, and maybe even Ocon in 10th. Alright, we have DRS on Pierre Gasly, but Lando Norris is right on our tail, and he's going up the inside. We probably shouldn't bother fighting him, although Paul, he was forced onto the gravel. He's forcing Lando off as well. We are absolutely fighting it out with Lando Norris's McLaren. We're going to have to concede this one though. Let's go rarely defend with Paul and with Fred, who's actually just dropped to 19th. This soft tyre start hasn't worked out for him. He's going backwards. Who's he been overtaken by? Bottas. That's not what we were looking for. Yeah, so one car has moved forward and the other has gone backwards. Zhou has got some damage and that's why he's slow, and Gasly is all over his rear end. And can we sneak through? Lando's going to get through this time, surely. No, he can't make it stick. We're fighting a McLaren and now he gets through. Piastri has passed Vesti. There's faster cars that are going to cycle through. We just need to lose as little time as possible and see if we can pick off Zhou Guanyu as well, as Lando goes off the track once more. And this is an all-out brawl on this in this opening phase of the race. Let's reduce our attacking on the tyres and make them last a little bit longer. Alright, lap 7 and things have gone south very quickly. We're now behind Bottas and Leclerc. Leclerc coming through is hardly a surprise, but it's disappointing to fall behind Bottas. Vesti is now 3.5 seconds behind his teammate, and we're just running around at the back with Oliver Behrman, who is the last of the runners. He's not had a great introduction to Formula One, but we're not that far off the pack, so obviously Zhou has got an issue. If we can sneak ahead of him, that would do us the world of good. We're just about back in touch with Bottas, and we can reignite the fight with him. If we can get through and follow Leclerc, we could rejoin this pack that is scrapping out for what is essentially 13th, because that's Liam Lawson, who came roaring past us in the Alpine. Let's hop on board with Paul Aaron and get this job done. Oh, the Chinese driver cutting across us there. I don't like that, but I will like ascend into, I think it's turn 11 now. And there goes Paul Aaron. Let's attack on the tyres. Bring the pace up and try and escape from him. Try and latch back onto Leclerc and Hülkenberg and Gasly, who are ahead. And that would take us along a little bit nicely, or more nicely than we were before. Oh, there's Zhou. Great. Okay, we've emptied our battery, but we are scrapping with Pierre Gasly, as you can see here. We've just overtaken him, I'm guessing, at the end of the DRS zone. Look at that. Nice send on the Alpine, and now we're back in this fight with everybody else. Paul Aaron doing a stellar job, keeping his nose clean as well. Fred Vesti is now 10 seconds nearly behind Valtteri Bottas. He's really struggling. I'm not sure quite what's going on with him, but hopefully a little undercut will bring him into contention. He doesn't seem to be happy. And we are approaching the pit stop window. Let's harvest some battery so that when we come out from our pit stop, we've got plenty to play with and we can start attacking. Fred is now I'm just sure there's going to be a puddle under his seat. Not because he's wet himself, but because he's crying, because the pace is just not there for him. He's really struggled. Soft tyres, it's just not happened for him. He's 12 seconds behind Bottas. This is not the sort of performance we were looking for. What's his confidence like? Low. Paul Aaron has just lost 2 positions. I think we've been shoveled out onto the grass here. Around the outside of the Alpine, and yep, onto the grass. 2 positions lost. At least we stayed ahead of Bottas. Time for our first pit stop of the season. How does it go? 2.3 seconds. Lovely stuff. And Paul Aaron has just lost that place to Bottas. Although Bottas has got some damage. So that could slow him down. We have dropped 4.5 seconds to Gasly, so it is just a straight head-to-head. And DRS, the 4 DRS zones around this circuit keep you in play if you're fighting someone, but also if you lose DRS, you just lose so much time. Bottas goes into the pit lane, and we will do one more lap with Paul Aaron before bringing him in for a second set of medium tyres, and then we will stick him on some softs towards the end of the race. Fred is out. We need to get his tyres up to temperature, but his race badly needs a safety car. In comes Paul Aaron, and we are just next door to Alpine, and it's a 2.1 second stop. We're not the furthest pit box down the pit lane anymore because this game moves the garages along, essentially. We've come out ahead of Hulkenberg, who had a spin, and he has immediately gobbled us up because he had hot tyres. But we will hopefully be able to stay with the German and go along with him. Fred has dropped to last. He's just so slow at the moment. I don't understand what's going on. All right, Paul Aaron is in the action, and he is challenging Sergio Perez for 18th place. We are now 4 seconds behind Bottas, who must be on a set of softs. He is. Perez is on hards. I know he's good on his tyres, but they're probably not the right tyres to be on. Can we make the move? Yes, we can. Thanks very much. We'll hopefully, well, we'll lose the position now because DRS is basically on everything that looks remotely straight on this circuit. There you go. We lost the position again, and we're just losing time, hand over fist, to Bottas, who has got damage. I don't know what damage he's got. Is it wing damage? Can't see any. Maybe underfloor damage, but that's not helpful for us. Well, something to smile about for Fred Vesti. He's just overtaken Oliver Behrman for 21st position. This is the same guy that helped us get P10 in the Constructors' Championship last season. Multiple 13th place finishes, and this season has just started awfully for him. I'm seriously wondering if the second car of this team is just cursed, because Baruti was, okay, he wasn't very good generally, but also he was just woeful in that car. And as soon as we put Fred in it, he seems to have had problems too. And the problems continue. He's locked up and gone straight on at turn 3. I definitely think there's a curse with this car. He's under pressure from Behrman, who moves to the outside, and then he's onto the grass. Bit of gravel, recovers to the circuit. Far from ideal. But now we are into 16th. Down the inside into turn 1. Oh, that was almost contact. And Paul Aaron, with the DRS, hopefully is scampering away. Have we done enough to get outside of a second? We have. Wow. Hulkenberg really starting to fade on those soft tyres. And we are chasing down Bottas. Maybe we could finish 15th? If we can catch... We'll be on the soft tyres later on. We could catch Ocon and Gasly, maybe even Lawson. So potentially P12 is on the cards here. So it's not all doom and gloom, although Fred Vesti's having a terrible day. But for Paul Aaron, it's going much, much better. And in goes Liam Lawson. What is he going to put on for his final stint? Hopefully it's a set of mediums and we can have the advantage. We will have the advantage in terms of tyre pace against Liam Lawson. So this is promising. Oh, now we have underfloor damage. Fantastic. Just what we didn't need. Paul Aaron coming to the pit lane for his pit stop. Gasly had pitted the lap before. Ocon is also in. He had to wait for us to go past. Oh, a slow stop on the front right. Come on. Come on. 8.2 seconds. That's... definitely not what you want, is it? And it's going to cost us, well, not a huge problem. There goes George Russell, who's leading the race. We're now a lap down, which will help us with fuel, but it won't help us close down the gap. Although we might, when Ocon has to get out of the way, we might be able to close him down. He's gone to hards, so we might be able to close him in pretty quickly, actually. And Ocon has just been lapped. So, we need to put the hammer down now and see if we can close in, because he has lost some time. He's bottled up behind Russell. Excuse me, and we are closing in pretty rapidly on the Haas. So if we can beat Ocon in a Haas, that would be very, very impressive, I would think. And we are now right on the tail of the French driver, who is shadowing the race leader, but can't find a way through. We need to dispose of Ocon first. Here comes Paul Aaron down the inside. Can we make it stick through the second of the right-handers? Oh, that is absolutely fantastic. We'll hopefully get DRS off of George Russell. Come on, 18th place. Never felt so good, did it? Oh, Ocon's coming back. We don't want him to come back through. Please defend that. And we have. Good news. Right, let's just follow George Russell, and hopefully he tows us to the back of Zhou and Hülkenberg, and then we can maybe catch the Alpines as well. Bad news, Esteban Ocon has got back past and disappeared. I don't think we're going to be catching anything for the rest of this race. We're losing a lot of time at the moment. This floor damage must be more severe than first anticipated. Let's conserve some fuel and just finish ahead of Bottas, really. Obviously, Hülkenberg up in 16th means we're going to be bottom of the standings. We needed to be ahead of Ocon, because then we'd push Haas down a place. But we're starting to close back in. Has Ocon just had to give up something? Maybe to the Mercedes of Antonelli. Mercedes have had a really good run, actually. They've got themselves out of trouble. Red Bull doing a good job, so Mercedes have done a decent job over the winter with their car. Can we close in on Ocon? We are, well, last time around we were 8/10 slower, so that's not promising, is it? Fred Vesti is still last as Max Verstappen comes to complete the final lap, and Vesti is going to be 2 laps down. He moves over and finishes his race last. Lapped twice. That is absolutely not how we were hoping to start the season with Fred. Paul has done a decent job. We've ended up 8.5 seconds behind Ocon, so we definitely need to continue developing this car, because it's still not good enough, but it's certainly better than what we had at the start of last season. We're fighting with other teams, and Paul Aaron comes home for 19th. We've finished ahead of Bottas and Behrman. Yeah, Hülkenberg in the other Sauber did a phenomenal job. Zhou, with damage to the RB, got home on a set of hard tyres. Maybe the one stop was the play, but I don't think we've got the tyre preservation characteristics to do that. But definitely more development needed. We are developing hard, so hopefully we will progress and get closer to the rest of the midfield. So it's 2x2 in the first 6 places. Red Bull, Mercedes, McLaren. Then the Astons and the Ferraris fill out the rest of the top 10. Perez was... Oh, actually, Carlos Sainz was best of the rest, which is hardly surprising. Williams is a decent hope. He's the last person on the lead lap. So, yeah, that shows you how good of a job he did for them. Obviously, we dropped 3 and 5 places. I think getting blocked at the start for Fred really compromised his race. He never really picked himself back up. He fell back down the order, and yeah, it was miserable for him, absolutely miserable. Let's have a look at the constructors. There we are, bottom of the pile, but we will be back in China with a vengeance, looking to put these guys in their place behind us. So not quite the start to Season 2 we were hoping for, but we've got a better platform to develop this car. We haven't got the cost cap glitch to worry about either, so we can develop really, really hard in the early races and give ourselves an opportunity to close in on those midfield leaders. Potentially Williams and RB should be our competition towards the end of the campaign. But if you enjoyed that season opening race, leave a nice big thumbs up on the video for me. Subscribe for more F1 Manager content, and I'll see you next time. You're the best fans. It's bye for now.